Alright, hello everyone, Mr. No Souls here, and today we're going over the Warlock. Now, this is the people that make deals with dark Eldritch beings to pretty much gain their powers. They have magical sugar daddies that have given them deals that allow them to be very powerful casters. Now, right out the gate, you're going to notice, kind of similar to bards, they have a charisma caster primary attribute, which allows them to pretty much be the face of the party, which is really nice because it means they are quite good at talking. Now, why charisma instead of wisdom or any of the other ones? No idea. It's what D&D picked, and that's what it is. They are squishy, with only a D8 as their health point die. Their saving throw proficiencies are in Wisdom and Charisma, so again, very much focused on magic. They have 2 skill proficiencies and a decent sized list, being Arcane, Deception, History, Intimidation, Investigation, Nature, or Religion. So they can combo very well with rogues, bards, paladins, even though the entire, paladins have oaths and, well, warlocks have sugar daddies. It's kind of different. So strange there. They do have a weapon proficiency is in simple, and they also have an armor proficiency in light, so the most basic of the basic. Then their starting equipment. You have very limited choices here. It is a leather armor, sickle, 2 daggers, the arcane focus, so this is the same one for the wizards and sorcerers, crystal, orb, rod, quarterstaff, or wand. In this case, you're going to take the orb by default. You get a book of occult lore. Uh, the book gives you a +5 bonus to intelligence, arcane, history, nature, and religion checks you make on the topic, which is nice. You also gain a scholar's pack, which is backpack, book, ink pen, a lamp, 10 flasks of oil, 10 sheets of parchment, and a tinderbox, as well as 15 gold pieces, or alternatively 100 gold pieces. You can buy a good bit with that, but considering the cost of these 3 things right here, it actually might be better to pick the Group A, especially because a lot of the Warlock abilities tend to be really focused on magic, so you don't have that much equipment that's really going to help you be better at doing what you're looking to do right out the gate. Yeah, so Warlocks quest for knowledge that lies hidden in the fabric of the multiverse. They often begin their search for magical power by delving into tomes of forgotten lore, dabbling in invocations, meaning to attract power of extraplanar beings, or seeking places of power where influence of these beings can be felt. Warlocks are drawn into the binding pact with powerful patrons. Note they don't necessarily call out demons all the way here, they actually call them out back here. So, angels, archfey, demons, devils, hags, alien entities of the far realms. They effectively go and gain these things. It's kind of weird that they kind of give a little bit of the wizard. Because the wizard is normally the delver of mysteries and wanting to gain all knowledge, but in this case, they're just calling out that the warlock is the one that goes in for the forbidden knowledge, which is different. I'm not against it, but it is a little different. They view their patrons as resources and means to an end to achieve magical powers. Some warlocks respect, revere, or even love their patrons. Some serve their patrons grudgingly. Some seek to undermine their patrons, even as they wield the power their patron gives them. So, Percy. Percy is a great example of someone that was under a warlock's pact unknowingly. If you watch the, what was it, Roll20 on Amazon Prime. That is a wonderful example of someone that was grudgingly under a warlock pact and didn't even fully understand that they were under patron patron's thumb effectively. Now level 1, standards everything else, you get the core warlock trait table and the features table. If you multi-class as this character, you get the hit point die and light armor. You also gain the level 1 features listed in the features table, see the multi-classing rules, so on and so forth. So, if you multi-class into this, you get nothing. Really, you would want to, like, you know, not want to go into this for something specific. If you're looking to gain like an item, you're really only here for like your bonuses and class features and so on and so forth. So surprisingly dense, a little bit of gaps here and there, but across the board actually pretty good. Also a pretty nice breakdown of spell slots and then slot level. It's interesting. This is very different than the other classes, so I'm going to be kind of interested in seeing how this is set up. You have cantrips, you have a number of prepared spells. Interesting. Not a lot of spell slots. And then slot level is up to 5. So, interesting, interesting, interesting. Okay, let's see here. Level 1, Eldritch Invocation. You unearth Eldritch Invocations, piece of forbidden knowledge that you imbued with a biting magic ability. Get it back to the tome. Invocations are described in the Eldritch Invocation option, which we'll see later on. Prerequisites. If an invocation has a prerequisite, you must meet it in order to learn the invocation. For example, if an invocation requires you to be a level 5 plus Warlock, you can select the invocation once you reach Warlock level 5. Okay. Replacing and gaining invocations. Whenever you gain a Warlock level, you can replace one of your invocations with another one for which you qualify. So you only can do it when you level up. You can't replace an invocation if it's a prerequisite for another invocation that you have. Interesting. So it's not like you could just temporarily hold a spell, gain another spell, then swap out the lower spell for something else. You can't monkey ladder your way up. You actually have to build the way up the tree and then keep the roots intact for it to stand. It's interesting. When you gain certain Warlock levels, you gain more invocations of your choice. Can't pick the same invocation more than once unless the description says other. Interesting. You could pick an invocation twice. Level 1, Pact Magic. Through occult ceremony, you form a pact with a mysterious entity to gain magical power. Its identity is unclear, but its boon to you is concrete. The ability to cast spells. For the rules on spellcasting, appears within the Warlock spellcast list. Cantrips, you get 2 cantrips. Eldritch Blast and Prestidigitation are the recommended. That's fine. You can replace one of your cantrips from the... So only at level up can you swap that. Okay, spell slots. Warlock shows how many spell slots you have. Level 1 to 5. The table shows level. Gain all expended pact magic spell slots when you finish a short or long rest. Interesting. So they get all their magic back even at a short rest. That's pretty unique. For example, if you're a level 5 Warlock, you have 2 level 3 spell slots. To cast one level 1 spell, Witch Bolt, you must spend one of those spell slots. And you cast it as a level 3 spell. So everything's automatically upcasted. Interesting. So you would, at the highest, have 4 spell slots that you could hold spells for, but all of those would be cast at level 5. Wow, okay. So you could have all these you could prepare up to 15 spells, but you could only have 4 of them available at a time that you can swap into, and then only cast them at level 5. Interesting, interesting. List of level 1 spells that are available to cast this feature. To choose 2 level 1. Shown the prepare. Choose an additional Warlock spell under the number of spells in your list to match the number on the table. The chosen spells must be of level no higher than what's shown in the table slot level column. When you reach level 6, for example, you learn a new Warlock spell, which can be of level 1 to 3. If another Warlock features gives you a spell that you have always prepared, that spell doesn't count against the number. Okay, that's nice. So you can still cast those. Okay, changing prepared spells. Whenever you get level, you can replace one. So you can swap out one spell in your prepared spell list. Charisma is your spellcasting ability for Warlock spells. Okay. And you have an arcane focus. So, yeah. Level 2, you get Magical Cunning. You can perform an Esoteric Rite for 1 minute. At the end of it, you gain expended packed magic spell slots, but no more than a number equal to half your maximum rounded up. Once you use this feature, you can't do so until long rest. So, effectively, if you're not in combat, but you can't take a short rest, you could pop this Magical Cunning and gain some of your spell slots back. It's a nice way to top back up. Okay, level 3, you get subclasses like everyone else. Level 4, you get an ability score improvement, which is pretty common. Level 9, you can contact your patron through intermediaries. Now you can directly. You always have the contact other plane spell prepared. Interesting, it doesn't expend a spell slot to use, and you automatically succeed. Okay, so you can only do it once per long rest. Interesting. Mystic Arcanium. Your patron grants you a magical secret called an Arcanium. Choose one level 6 Warlock spell as this Arcanium. Interesting. So this, you can actually get a higher tier spell. Even though your slots top out at 5, there are ways to get higher tiers. Okay. This way, when you reach Warlock level 13, interesting. You can cast your Arcanium spell once without expending a spell slot, and you must take a long rest before you can cast it again this way. Gain another Warlock spell of your choice that can be cast this way when you reach level 13, which is a level 7 spell, 15 level 8 spell, 17 level 9 spell. What? Okay, so you can get to level 9 spells as a spellcaster class, which is nice because if you were capped out at 5, that would make you like the lowest level caster of all. Okay, but it's all relegated behind getting that long rest to replace it. Okay, so you can only change them out when you level up. Level 19, you get that epic boon, and at level 20, you become an Eldritch Master. When you use your magical cunning feature, you gain all your expended pack magic spell slots. So you have a way to pretty much always be able to top you off once. Well, it probably fills up this too. No, actually it doesn't. Yeah. That... Hmm. Yeah, this is its own thing. So, the way I read it, Eldritch Master does not synergize with this Mystic Arcanium. So, if you burn these spells, you would still be able to use Magical Cunning to regain your base spells, but this would not be reset until you still achieve a long rest. And then, after you burn this, you'd still need the long rest. It's not terrible, but it's just, I have mixed feelings on it. Okay. Eldritch Invocation options. Level +2 Warlock. Warlock cantrip that deals damage. Repeatable. You can gain this invocation once more. Each time you do so, choose a different illegible cantrip. Armor Shadow. Mage armor yourself without expending. You can cast Levitate on yourself without Wow. Those you can see normally in dim light and darkness, both magical and non. There's huh. Interesting. So, agonizing blast, you can grab multiple times. Wow. These are interesting. I'm not going to go read through all of these. These seem interesting, but they're a little bit too much here for me to just spend the time to try to read through all these. Wow. This is a really, really long set of like deals you can make. Wow, that is a long, long list. Warlock spell list. So these are your cantrips, which are pretty important, so you need to be really careful picking these. I mean, Eldritch Blast, though, I will say, is like the quintessential, like, Warlock spell. It's the hardest hitting cantrip. It's 1d10 of force damage. Spell creates 2 beams at level 5, 3 beams at level 11, and 4 beams at level 17. Wow. Yeah, wow. That's pretty impressive. Then here's the level 1 spells, level 2 spells, level 3 spells, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and level 9. Huh. That's a interesting one. Okay, now we get on to the subclasses. And right out the gate, they're starting off with if you have a Fey patron, these are your, not elves, but fairies and things that made elves. At least in a lot of mythology, they're kind of related or made or something like that. But start off level 3, you get quite a few spells right out the gate. Oh, wow, including sleep. Then level 5, you get more, 7 and 9. That's a pretty strong list. You also get Steps of the Fae. Your patron grants you the ability to move between the boundaries of planes. You can cast Misty Step without expending a spell slot number of times equal to your Charisma modifier, and you regain all expended uses on a long rest. In addition, when you cast that spell, you can choose one of the following additional effects. Refreshing Step. Immediately after you teleport, you or one creature you can see within 10 feet of you gain 1d10 temporary hit points. That's nice. Taunting Step. Creatures within 5 feet of the space you left must succeed a Wisdom saving throw against a spell save DC or have disadvantage on the next roll against creatures other than you to the start. Wow, that's interesting. So you could teleport away and give everything disadvantage. Huh. Level 6, you get that Misty Escape. Cast Misty Step as a reaction in response to taking damage. That can be very nice. In addition, the following effects are now among the Steps of Phase option. Disappearing Step, you have the invisible condition until the start of your next turn, or until immediately after you make an attack roll, damage roll, or cast a spell. Dreadful Step, creatures within 5 feet of the space you left, or the space you appear in, your choice, must succeed on a Wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC or take 2d10 psychic damage. That's pretty good. Level 10, Beguiling Defense. Your patron teaches you how to guard your mind and body. You're immune to charm condition. In addition, immediately after a creature you see hits you with an attack roll, you can take a reaction to reduce the damage taken by half. Round down, you can force the attacker to make a wisdom saving throw against your spell DC. On a failed save, the attacker takes psychic damage equal to the damage you take. Once you use this reaction, you can't use it again until a long rest unless you expend a packed magic spell slot to restore it. Okay. Bewitching Magic. Your patron grants you the ability to weave your magic with teleportation immediately after you cast an enchantment or illusion spell using an action and a spell slot. You can cast Misty Step as part of the same action without wow, that could be really good. So if you got to like 14 and then cross-classed with 6 levels of something else, you could become very mobile and have a lot of abilities. But level 6 doesn't necessarily give you great... I don't know, I feel like cross-classing is heavily frowned upon now because they're giving so much if you stick with a class. Like, there's no longer like just a 1-2 point dip to really get a strong option because like you take that 1-2 point dip and you're losing out in so much strength. Not only because of like what class you're in, but because like you don't get so much out of the first couple levels in most cases. Not always true, but often. Okay, so if you have an angel as your patron, which why that isn't just a cleric, I have to question, but okay. You draw upon the upper planes, Empyrean, a Quaddle, a Sphinx, a Unicorn, or other heavenly entity. Okay. Interesting. So you gain a lot of healing, protection, reviving, protection, healing, protection. So all good things. Okay, healing light. Gain the ability to channel celestial energy to heal wounds. You have a pool of d6s to fuel this healing. The number of dice pool equals your Warlock level plus 1. As a bonus action, you can heal yourself or one creature you can see within 60 feet of yourself, expending a dice from the pool. Maximum number of dice you can expend at once equals your charisma modifier, minimum of 1 die. Roll the dice you expend and restore the number of hit points equal to the roll's total. Your pool regains all expended dice when you finish a long rest. Interesting. That actually could make a really good healer. Because at level... well... let's see. Okay, so you're a conduit for radiant energy. You're resistant to radiant damage. Once per turn, when the spell you cast deals radiant or fire damage, you can add your charisma modifier to the spell's damage against one of the target spell's targets. Okay. Level 10, Celestial Resilience. You gain temporary hit points whenever you use Magical Cunning feature or finish a short or long rest. These temporary hit points equal your your Warlock level plus your Charisma modifier. Additionally, choose up to 5 creatures you can see when you gain the points. Those creatures each gain temporary hit points equal to half your Warlock level plus your Charisma modifier. Okay. Searing Vengeance. When you or an ally within 60 feet of you is about to make a death saving throw, you can unleash radiant energy to save the creature. The creature regains hit points equal to half its hit point maximum and can end the prone condition on itself. Each creature of your choice within 30 feet of the creature takes radiant damage equal to 2d8 plus your charisma modifier, and each has a blinding condition until the end of the current turn. Once you use this feature, you can't use... So it just pops them up. It's kind of, it's really weird. They're like an offensive defensive hybrid. I have mixed feelings on this. It's good, but it's definitely strange. Definitely a strange one. Fiend Patron, making deals with the lower planes in this one. So these are your Asmodeus, Archdevils. Okay, so yeah, calling out all the Demon Lords. They're evil, corruption, destruction, yada yada yada. So start off with the Dark One's Blessing, reducing an enemy to 0 HP. You gain temporary hit points equal to your Charisma modifier plus your Warlock level. Interesting. If someone else reduces an enemy within 10 feet of you to 0 hit points, you also get that temporary hit points. Okay, yeah. Fiend spells. A little smaller, but they're solid. At level 6, you get the Dark One's Own Luck. You can call on your Fiend Patron to alter fate in your favor. Make an ability check or a saving throw. You can use the feature to add a 1d10 to your roll. You can do so after seeing the roll, but before any of the roll effects occur. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your Charisma modifier, but you can use it no more than once per roll. It's tied to long rests. Okay? That's pretty good. Level 10, Fiendish Resilience, not Resistance. Choose one damage type other than Force. Whenever you finish a short or long rest, you have resistance to that damage type until you choose a different one. Wow, that could be really good. That can be a really big helper, just always being able to be resistant to one type of damage. That's nice. Hurl through Hell. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with an attack roll, you can try to instantly transport the target through the lower planes. Target must succeed a Charisma saving throw against your spell save DC. The target disappears and hurtles through a nightmare landscape. The target takes 8d10 psychic damage if it isn't a fiend, and it has the incapacitated condition until the end of your next turn when it returns to the space it previously occupied or the nearest unoccupied space. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until a long rest unless you expend Pact Magic. Wow. That's actually terrifying. Like yeah, that is actually pretty strong. This is solid. Solid. Kinda mixed feelings on that, but across the board I would say it's solid. But this here is just terrifying, and this here is also very respectable. So it's like it's bottom heavy, but it's strong bottom heavy. Okay. Next comes the Great Old One Patron. Okay, I'm gonna need something to drink here because a lot of talking and my voice is giving out. Ugh. Orange juice. Wonderful. So, these are your Cthulhu-esque monsters, Eldritch gods. Also, very Victorian Sweeney Todd-esque. They had to point that out. Interesting outfit. Tarzan, the Chained Gods, Zargon, the Returner, Haidar, Dark Hunger, Great Cthulhu, Cthulhu Amenu, Awakened Mind. You can form a telepathic connection between your mind and the mind of another. As a bonus action, choose one creature you can see within 30 feet of yourself. You and the chosen creature can commune telepathically with each other while the two of you are within a number of miles of each other equal to your charisma modifier. minimum 1 mile. To understand each other, you each must mentally use a language the other knows. You know, with so many telepathic abilities, I would have to wonder if you had an entirely telepathic squad, if everyone just like telepathically bonded to one other person in the party to make like an entire circle. Like, because you would be able to talk to one other person, you could effectively play like an instantaneous game of telephone. Yeah, I can't see any way that would go wrong. So telepathic connection lasts a number of minutes equal to your warlock level. It ends early if you use this feature to connect with a different creature. Okay. Get the Great Old One spells. That's not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Not okay. Yeah, those are all decent spells. This is kind of meh. This is all right. You also get another group psychic spells. When you cast a warlock spell that deals damage, you can change its damage type to psychic. In addition, when you cast an eldritch enchantment or illusion, you can do so without verbal or somatic components. Okay, yeah, those strong choices. That's fine. Level 6, Clairvoyant Combatant. When you form a telepathic bond with a creature using your awakened mind, you can force that creature to make a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC. On a failed save, the creature has disadvantage on attack rolls against you, and you have advantage on attack rolls against that creature for the duration of the bond. Oh, it doesn't have to be a friendly. Oh. So you're effectively like a mind flayer. Wow, that is scary. Okay, so you can't. Okay, so you get it back on short or long rest, or you can expend Pact Magic to use it again. Level 10, you get Eldritch Hex. Your alien patron grants you a powerful curse. You always have the Hex spell prepared. When you cast Hex, choose an ability. The target also has disadvantage on saving throws of the chosen ability for the duration of the spell. Also gain Thought Shield. Your thoughts can't be read by telepathy or other means unless you allow it. You also have resistance to psychic damage. Whenever a creature deals psychic damage to you, that creature takes the same amount of damage that you take. Wow, that is just so vicious mockery from a bard would be a really bad idea. Wow, that is actually interesting. Level 14, you can create Thrall. When you cast Summon Aberration, you can modify it so it doesn't require concentration. If you do so, the spell's duration becomes 1 minute for the casting. When summoned, the aberration has a number of temporary hit points equal to your wizard level plus your charisma modifier. In addition, the first time each turn the aberration hits a creature under the effect of your hex, the aberration deals extra psychic damage to the target. This is pretty much like a hunter. Like, effectively, it's kind of like a weird hunter's mark. If you really think about it, like, you can latch on to a target, so mark them. Then you can give them disadvantage. And then you can hit them with a hex. And then you can just have bonus damage every time your minion, your pet, effectively attacks that target. Like, that is... Whoops, didn't mean to do that. That's wild. I actually really like this one. I think of all my favorites, I think the Great Old One and the Fiend are probably my two favorites. The Celestial I've mixed feelings on. The Archfey is interesting. I almost feel like it's built for cross-classing, but it doesn't want to commit to allowing cross-classing. Because that would work well for like a rogue or a bard or like a lot of other classes, but it's... I don't know. I don't think that gives enough to a Warlock on their own. Yeah, I really feel the Great Old One or the Fiend Patron are like the winners of this round. But anyways, thank you everyone for listening. It was Mr. No Souls, and I am signing off for tonight. Happy holidays, everyone. Adios.